Hi, this is Jacqueline from Pilates Space. I'm going to take you through some fundamentals and spinal mechanics. Let's start with some breath. Bringing the hands to the sides of the ribs. Let's expand laterally on the inhalation. And exhale. Exhale, gently draw the belly in and lengthen up along your vertical line. We also want to expand front to back with our breath. So one hand to the back and one to the front. Expanding here. One more breath. And then as we move into some movement of the spine, we'll draw the belly in as we scoop through our contraction. Lengthen up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, scoop the belly in as you contract through the spine. Inhale, find length, and exhale, lower. Let's take that contraction and roll all the way back. And then you'll bend your knees in a little bit closer, and we'll work on some movement through the pelvis. Inhaling. Exhale, scoop the belly and curl the tailbone up, keeping length through the front of the hips. Lengthen the pelvis down, and this time on the inhalation, we'll point the tailbone down with slight extension, and exhale, scoop the belly in to return to center, taking care not to overcompensate and get stuck in a tuck. So starting with that long, lengthened action through the pelvis, inhale, lengthen, exhale, scoop the belly back to return to center. One more time. Let's return to the curl. Take it a little bit higher. And now press down on one side of your pelvis to bring in rotation on the inhalation, and exhale, return to that scoop. last one. And roll the pelvis down. Putting that all together into a sacrum circle. Use the breath as you wish. Pass through the curl and on one side and the slight extension and then the other side. One more. Go back to the scoop and the curl and lengthen back out. Let's go in the other direction. You can picture your sacrum. Right now you would be on the top end of it into the mat. You're going to go onto one side, onto the bottom end, onto the other side, and back to the top. This movement is still happening around your center axis. So it's quite small. And we'll take one more. And lengthen down. Let's bring the arms up. Press them overhead. And up. And anchor them down into your mat. And again. Keep that length through the pelvis and that connection of the back of the ribs into your mat, especially as the arms press overhead. Keep that connection. I'm opening here so you can see what's happening. I'll ask you to lengthen one leg along your mat. Going into rotation again on the inhalation, starting from the bottom. And returning ribs, waist, and pelvis. Full breath to go there. Full breath to return. One more time. Switching sides. You'll notice that the bent leg is reaching in that direction as opposed to crossing over the midline, and you're pulling back from your center. Last one. And bring both legs together, rolling up to seated. Let's go into some side bending. Seated in a diamond shape, nice and tall through the spine. Move your arm first, then exhale, take the spine into a side bend, return and find your vertical, and then press down. can stay in your diamond or come to a kneeling position for some rotation. Starting with that lift and length through the spine, arms in a T. Inhale here, and exhale, rotate around your midline. Inhale, center, and exhale the other way. Bring the air out of the lungs as you rotate. Stay here in pulse. Deepening the rotation with every breath. Return. Let's go back into our diamond shape, working on our full forward contraction, like your spine stretch from your mat work. Try to bend through all areas of the spine on 2 full breaths, scooping the belly in, feeling that C shape in the spine. Stay for 2 sets of pulses. And roll up on a breath, finding your vertical. Find your T and find length through the spine. 2 breaths forward. Rolling up on a breath. Let's do that one more time. Rolling up. And maintain that length. One more breath like that. And then bring your hands to your pelvis. For our hinge, let's fold from the hips, deepening the crease of the pelvis into the thigh bones, and return to vertical. That's your hinge. It might feel small, but deepen the angle of the hips, keeping the spine straight. And let's flex your feet, same thing but going back. So opening the angle at the hips and return to vertical. Feeling the work of the abdominals in towards the spine. Let's take that diamond position and we're going to turn one leg in, and that will bring us into this position for some hip work and spiraling. So first, I want you to roll the hip forward and roll it back. that movement will initiate our spiral. Return from your hip. If you want, you can point that foot and flex on the return. One more. And then just bring that leg in a little bit closer, and we'll go into this circular action to open the chest and the arm. Keeping that hip down as low as you can manage it through this part. Reverse. So this action is happening at the level of the rib cage and of the arm. One more. And let's find our diamond and repeat all this on the other side, starting with your hip. Taking that into a spiral. Returning from your hip first. Taking that movement all the way through to your foot. So when you return from the hip, you flex and deepen that hip fold. One more. And tuck this foot in a little bit closer, circling around, opening to the back. Allowing the neck and the eyes to change. Reverse, opening to the back. And let's go on to our stomach. Forehead on the hands. Take 2 breaths to draw the belly into the spine. And bring your arms to a W shape, lifting just the upper part of the back without using your arms. Inhale. And exhale, lengthen long. One more time, working that extension through that upper back, and then taking it into full extension with space between the legs if needed. So we'd start from the work in the back, and then assisting with the arms, and then reach the chest forward. The belly is still scooped in. push back into a shell stretch, taking 2 full breaths there. And roll up through the spine. And then we'll come on to hands and knees, starting in a lengthened spine, articulating from the tailbone, all the way through the spine, rounding the back up, and then lengthening to flat. And again. Working through extension, so reaching the tailbone behind you, and then lengthen the tailbone, return to flat. This range will feel smaller. Still keeping the belly drawn in and lengthening through those muscle fibers. Lengthen to flat, and then contract back to your shell stretch and rolling up on a breath. Let's go back to where we started. Sitting here, hopefully feeling more connected in the body, lengthen through the spine, taking some air. Looking up and stretching the neck and looking down. And then roll your neck back up to vertical. And there we are. Thank you for joining me. See you soon.